Karibu sana, Mr. David Oyuke. Can you hear me? And are you there?
Definitely here, man. You did the perfect thing bringing me on after Donnell Jones jam, bro.
Oh, you're a Donald Jones fan, right?
Dude, man, that's great music right there, man.
Yeah. I'm telling you, that's what we do here every day, every
Sing it.
Spice Drive.
It's great to see you, man,
It's
though.
great to see you too. David Oyuka has joined us. We just want to have a conversation about staying sane as a public figure. And you know how it is, David. If we can just dive into the conversation so that it's not a
Sure.
monologue, at least on my end, I've realized I have the I can talk. So I just want to just hold back Kidogo. Right now, I was just telling our good spice drivers. That's how I refer to them. About
I like
like
the name.
right now we are almost all public figures. All right, because we
Yeah.
are many of us we are on social media. We post very personal photos on social media and hope that
Yeah.
people are gonna hit that like button. But it's getting crazy because sometimes I post my photograph and I'm not getting as many likes as maybe someone else who has posted a photo, saa zingine makalio are involved, but I don't want to get into that. But the
Hmm.
crazier the photo you put out there, the more the likes. What do you think about
Yeah.
just surviving through this crazy social media world that we are in right now?
I think, first and foremost, I had to make peace with the fact that the world has always been crazy.
Mm.
We just broadcast it more, and the crazy is available to many more people. So the tactics that people used to use back in the day are different from the tactics we use now.
Yes.
But once you're in this space, it's something you have to deal with consistently.
Mm.
And like you're talking about, you can post a picture, man. And I remember a few years ago, guys used to laugh at these captions where, somebody has a picture doing something totally random,
Yes.
and then the caption is like "Mungu ni Baba," and you're like, "What
Yes.
the?" Like,
Yes, I've seen
makes
those.
no sense,
Thank you for
you know?
bringing that up,
Yeah.
David. I've seen the craziest photo of Makalio with the best caption on the earth.
Uh,
So I'm like, how do
yeah, man.
these two things rhyme, man?
A Bible scripture like "You will sit on your enemies." I'm like, yo, it doesn't mean that, fam. you know. So
Uh
so
huh.
like that combination of that combination of like wanting the whole likes and all those type of things. People are trying to do crazy things
Yeah.
to get eyeballs and to get attention, right?
Mm.
But when you look at it from back in the day, like when I was learning in media in university, we're told what bleeds leads, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the reality. Even look at our politics, right?
Yes.
You won't see on the front page or something like that something really dope like, oh man, three kids, get saved from something. It'll be
Mm-hmm.
like something has just crashed and everything is crumbling down. Check
Mm-hmm.
this page.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of sensationalism,
Yeah.
and we've been taught that from way back in our media schools. What bleeds leads.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an unfortunate thing. Like, there's a conversation that I was having with a few media people, and we're looking at the advent of yellow journalism and sensationalism and how it started back in the day. You would just compete for eyeballs and do anything that's necessary.
So
What that,
when you talk about yellow journalism, because I just want to get that clear, are you
yeah.
talking about like even in the media world, having to do something very extreme in order to get eyeballs, like we see it happening on social media? So it's the same thing, copy paste.
It's the same thing, copy paste. It's nothing new. Yellow journalism has been there for hundreds of years. And it's now gotten into social media because by that time, if social media was there, we'd have seen probably the same exact thing to sell.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, we're in a platform that needs money. So advertising takes a large chunk of how people look for content. That's in mainstream media.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the same model has gotten into new media or digital media. They understand one, what bleeds leads. Number two, a lot of sensationalism. And like when I was getting into radio, we're always taught about be the type of person that somebody can aspire to be.
Mm-hmm.
The type of economy that we live in right now, the type of world that we live in right now, everybody is trying to to look like they're making it in life. Everybody wants to look like they're driving the best car. They have the flyest chick or chicks by both of their hands or their sides, because those are the things that have been pictured looking like success, right?
Yes.
So it's not something that is new. But back to your question, how do you stay sane in such an environment? One of the first things you have to understand is yourself. You have to ask yourself, okay, who am I before I even get into this space? Because the thing is, any space that you enter into without knowing yourself will define you. It's plain and simple. It doesn't matter where that space is. As long as there's people there who have a certain culture or a certain way of doing things, if you don't understand yourself, your goals, your objectives, you'll be defined by the space that you're in.
So
So you have to, yeah. Uh-huh.
so if but from what I'm saying, like say my competition, say I am a lady and I am seeing the people around me are getting more likes, and these likes are even leading to endorsements because maybe they're doing say a very vigorous twerk video, and now me I'm there with my in quotes just plain posts and plain
Yeah,
videos.
inspiration.
And
Yeah.
I'm seeing these people are like I'm being left behind. I'm not getting
Yeah.
these endorsements. I'm not getting these advertisements. Like, does that strategy last?
Well, I can say it all depends on what somebody is trying to do, because on the short term, it might last, but again, people change. And here's where it gets tricky, right? Where you start out that way, for example, and then in the middle of all this, you've already built a certain identity, and then you change. But you can't triple you've changed because you've already built your brand to look and feel a certain way, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you're one of those people who you post certain things that are maybe not family oriented, and then you get married, you know? So now you can't necessarily stop posting the things you used to post about if you've already established that as your brand. So you post that, and every single day you have to talk to your wife or your husband. You're like, "Yo, fam, this is just for social media. I'm no longer this way." And you start having all those to weird validations and arguments and all those type of things.
Yes.
So on that front, it might not necessarily last. It might last if that's typically just who you are.
Oh yeah.
If you are just typically that type of person, it'll last, because there are
Yeah.
people who have been doing this for like 20
True.
years
True.
and they don't really care, because they're like, I'm not a role model, I don't really care what people say. I'll do me. But if you're the type of person who looks at the world differently, you're like, I want to be responsible not just for my life, but the people who listen to me, then that matters. Case in point, I've one of my earliest experiences in radio,
Yes.
someone called me live on air and told me I'm about to commit suicide. Like live on air, right?
Pressure.
If you're in, dude,
Uh-huh.
that was in my first year on radio.
Yeah.
First year on radio, and at this time I was working on two radio stations at the same time. There was a sister radio station, an English one and a Kiswahili one. So this was on a Kiswahili station, and it was like my second day. So this chick was like, wacha nikwambia nataka tu kujitia kitanzi nijitoe uhai nini, and I'm like, oh my lord. And if we have been cultured in such an environment for make a joke and play a song, you can't handle that.
True.
Because in that moment you're like, oh my god, is
So
this person
how did
serious?
you handle
Are they
that?
not? Well, I the first thing that I tried to do is I didn't want to make it about me giving her advice. I wanted to understand, where are you emotionally? Like, how did you get to this place? Because if you're calling me to tell me this, it means you want to have a conversation,
Yeah.
right? And so I just asked her, like, where are you emotionally? Ulifikaje hapa? Nieleze, wacha nikusikize, tafadhali niambie. And she told me about the stuff that happened with her husband and with her daughter. And I realized there's an entry point here. She has a young daughter. And she was like, she doesn't want to leave her young daughter in the world with the type of husband that she married, because she's afraid of what will happen. And I told her, your daughter will be more empowered with you here than you leaving her alone.
Yeah.
And she had not seen it that way. She had not seen it that way. And for a moment, she was shocked. She was like, wait a minute, that's actually true. And it was in a split second, right? But again, that's just me. And that's how I see the world. I see the world from, I want to help people. I want to be like this cool dude, but still an inspiration to people. And because I'd cultured myself in that mindset, you know, she was able to open up and I was able to give her that information. So again, people are different.
Yeah.
But here's the trick: when that is your mindset and that's your way of life, right? And that's
Yes.
your way of thinking, but then everything around you is vain. You know, everything around you, somebody probably says, angekuwa mimi namwambia tu mazee afanye tu kile anafanya, you know, because people do think like that and people do say such things, you know. And for you to stay sane, you have to go back and remember, why did I get into this thing in the first place? Yeah, the music is great, man. Like you guys play great music, absolutely great music. But you ask yourself as a person, why did I get into this platform? Is it just to play the music? You know? And one of the first things that we were taught when we were being trained in radio is it's not just about the things that you find in radio, the music and all these type of things. Let them know you, let them interact with you, right? And so for me, I had to gain that understanding of myself first. It's what has held me down until today. My family, of course, my wife, yo man, she holds me down like crazy, you know, like yo,
Yeah, man.
you know,
Shout outs to Mrs. Oyuke, man. And it's
yeah,
good
man,
you've brought up that issue about the person who called in and said they want to, take their own life. I mean,
yeah,
I also dabble in the comedy industry, and it's public knowledge that many comedians right now are going through very tough times mentally. And
yeah,
we see all over social media, someone is anachangia huyu comedian because they're going through depression and such
yeah,
stuff. Like most recently, there's a comedian buddy of mine who was taken to rehab. And in the midst of all this, many comedians are losing their lives because these guys are
yeah,
young and they are known. It's like some sort
yeah,
of toxic combination. So you're known, you're young, and you've still not even made enough money. So
hmm,
the expectation on your life is not what is being seen. Like you expect
yeah,
me to be driving this car, but I'm with you in the matatu because I'm still
yeah,
building up my career. But at that same
yeah.
time, I am depressed. So when we're talking about staying sane as a public figure, like what's been your journey in regard to just surviving through this anxiety that artists and
Hmm.
many even regular people are going through in life in this time in this time and seasons.
Yeah, yeah. Nazizi said it best, and then shout out to her, man. Superstar, comma three, na mafans kwa bima. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
that statement is so real, man. Like there are times, even as a hip hop artist, about maybe 15 years ago or something, you know, you'd be on stage, you know, and you're rocking the stage, and guys didn't think that I was a Kenyan, you know, at a particular concert. It was a pseudo international concert like this, and you know, they're like, hey, guy, I even signed, dude, I even signed autographs for artists today who are making it today. They had no idea that I was a Kenyan, you know?
Serious.
And then you leave
They
the
thought you're an
stage.
Oga brother.
No, because like I rap in English, my sound
Oh.
is jazz and neo soul. That's my sound, and you know.
Uh-huh.
So after leaving the stage and all that kind of stuff, when it's over, I'm walking with them and they're like, wait, are you lost? I'm like, no, I'm Nenda Town and They're like, wait, what? You know, there's this expectation that if you are in entertainment or in media and all these type of things, you have to live a certain life,
Yes.
you know. And again, like that's what I'm telling you, it's the advertising stroke marketing that tells you that, because you know there's this life that you should live. It's what these are your role models per se, but we're all human, fam. You know, we're all human, you know. So what has helped me personally stay sane, I can say, is um this might sound very weird. The choice of music that I listen to.
All right. Interesting.
That's my personal one. Like
Uh-huh.
neo soul music, jazz music, conscious hip hop music, the things that you listen to in the lyrics, like there's a lot of positivity in that. You know, it didn't always start that way, because there's a type of person that I was before I got into radio and into media, that I'm glad I changed, because I would have fallen under that pressure. Another thing is that I have a great support system. I am real. When I'm going through hell, man, I'll tell people. I'll tell my wife. I'll call up my boys and I'll be like, "Yo, man, like this day sucked. Like it sucked, man. Like I honestly do. I don't want to go to work tomorrow, and I'll be honest. Honesty is something that we need to cultivate, man. There's no shame in saying that you're struggling with something. It's not shameful to say that you're struggling with
Yeah,
something.
true,
There are
man.
days I would literally twitch in my sleep. I couldn't sleep well because I'm thinking about my show in the morning, you know? And my wife understood, my colleagues understood. Again, we had these conversations as colleagues. Such also don't realize, you also realize you're not going mad, you're not the only one, you know? Like I would vibe with some of my colleagues and they're like, "Hey, yo, man, I was hearing the station ID when I'm sleeping in my dreams, you
Yes,
know?
yes. It happens to me,
You know,
man. The
you
Spice
see?
Drive. I'm like, I'm late.
Yeah, and it's like 1:30 a.m.
Yeah.
you know
Uh-huh.
you know so having those authentic conversations for me is a game changer. Just being vulnerable with your people and saying, by the way, I'm going through this. The pressure is getting to me. People see me, especially like for me, I'm blessed because I've been in radio mostly. I did a short stint on TV, but radio is my domain. I've done it for about 8 years. The good thing is that you might know my voice, but I can still walk around and you have no idea about my face.
Less pressure.
So, so that there's less pressure. But I have friends who are in TV and the pressure is immense because there's an expectation. If your face is in public, your life has to be their version of successful. You have to have a car, don't walk. You have to wear this type of clothes. If you don't wear designer all the time, man, like, are you using your money well? There's an assumption that you're always rich if you're in media. Nah, you're just talented at what you do. It's plain and simple. So to get that in your mind and to tell yourself, people might talk about me, but let me be real, let me be authentic. At the end of the day, when everything is over, I look at myself in the mirror and say, "Yo, fam, you did good." Why?
Yeah.
Because you stayed real, you stayed true to yourself.
Yeah.
And everybody will know you for that. So you can work anywhere, you can chill with any person because they know you're authentic, you're not a pretender.
Yeah,
So that's something that has helped me. I am real to the core. I don't lie about these things.
that is brilliant. I wish we had more time, David. David, what are you doing right now? If guys want to connect with you, man.
I have a podcast
Yeah.
that's called the David Oyuke Podcast. You can check it. It's practically on every platform. It's on Apple Music. It's on Spotify. It's on Google Podcasts. It's on iHeartRadio. It's on TuneIn. It's practically everywhere. And what I do is I give content to help creatives deal with spaces like this that you're talking about. So whatever type of creative that you are, I call it for recovering creatives. So I talk about everything from anxiety to how to prepare for your job, how to be excellent but still maintain great emotions, so you have a balance between intellect and emotion. So there's a lot of different things. Working on new books because I'm also an author. I'm going to be working on my second and third book together with helping my wife, who's a publisher. So she's running her business for creating books for many people. So I'm helping her with that. And I'm also running my voiceover business. So if anybody feels like they want to get some great voice for their products,
Connect
let
with
them know.
David Oyuke. David Oyuke, the guy with the voice. But David, I honestly wish we had more time because I feel like we've
It's
just
all right.
scratched the surface and we're just beginning. But I think I'll just thank you so much for coming through and interrupting
Anytime,
your
man.
very, very busy day just to connect with us and share and drop those gems, brother.
You're very welcome, man. Keep on playing the great music and all the best with your radio career, man.
Cheers.
I
Cheers.
knew at some point
You
it would
did.
be dope.
You
So,
saw something.
so congratulations. I saw something,
Okay.
man.
Thank you. Thank you so much, man. We're hanging out right there with David Oyuke. We're just talking about staying sane as as a public figure. And I think we just scratched the surface. I wish we had time just to have more in regards to this conversation.